morning everyone, Jeremy here from Flatware Creations. Today I'm going to make some spoon rings. I went back through all my videos and I've put tips on how to make spoon rings, but I've never actually made a spoon ring for you guys. So today I'm going to be making a simple spoon ring. And spoon rings are made from forks, spoons, sometimes knives, pretty much anything that's small enough to be able to bend. Let's see, there we go. So there's the regular ring, and then a lot of people call these bypass rings because they slide past. They slide past the main part of the ring. And in my next video, I'm going to be making these guys. Hi Gus. These are normally called saddle rings because it's the entire spoon. And this one is a whole fork. Gus, what are you doing? I get on YouTube to make a video and instantly you come running? Do you want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? Praise God. Okay, so let's get started. First, I'm going to take, and I've flattened out these spoons. I've got, come on, Gus. This guy here, working around the cat. Come on, camera. There we go. So this is going to be my bypass ring. You see the pattern right down here? I'm going to stop right there. And on most teaspoons, you can go down to that low on them. So let me bring you down here and we will get started. Nope. Come on, Gus. I'm working here, buddy. I'm working. If you had opposable thumbs, I'd put you to work, but you don't. So you're going to need a pair of glasses, a Gus, because you have to have a Gus, some spoons or forks, teaspoon size. Salad forks work really well also because they're small, and you'll need a mallet of some sort. That is a nylon rubber mallet. Okay, and the way I'm going to do this today is I'm going to be using my vise, or not my vise, but my press. So this is my 3D press. It's a Harbor Freight 1-ton press, arbor press. The links are all in the description. Down in the description. They are affiliate links, so whatever I use, that's what I put in there, or the equivalent to what I use from Amazon. And every time you guys get something off there, I get pennies. Yay! So this is the 3D Arbor Press. Flatwearable.net makes these. You get the arbor press and they make the bar here, and it comes with different size pins that we'll be using today. Oops. And it comes with some forming blocks. So these are old. These are 4 years old now. What I've done here is I've taken and used I cut off a breaker bar. I can't get it off right now, but I cut off a breaker bar. Come on, buddy. And this is where I store the extra parts. And I built this up out of sports tape so I could get a lot of leverage on it. The way I have it set up right now is when my hand gets to my shoulder, I've got enough downforce to really be able to put pressure on it. But with this thing, you don't have to put a ton of pressure on it. And the way I'll show you, it's only going to take a minute to be able to adjust and get that ready. So what we're going to do first is we need to measure our pieces. So a lot of times with the bypass rings, I make all my rings the same size. I cut them all to the same length, and then I'll take a ring sizer and I'll size them. So this one here is just below the line there. So this is a 7 and about a half, 7 1/4 maybe. We're also going to use this to make them round. You can kind of see the air in there. There's always going to be an air pocket right here where they really start to overlap. On the bypass rings, these are normally always really round, nice and even. And if the person wants to wear them with the fat part down, you can kind of see how this end here, right there, is up a little bit. And that comes from the taper in the ring mandrel. So this way it's nice and flat. This way it's up and angled. So if the person wants to wear them flat, you'll take it here and you'll flatten this out to match up with this. So that's where we're gonna start there. So because I do all of mine the same size, and I'm doing them the way I normally make them, where's my ruler? I have a couple little nails here. So I have these nails to where the piece just sits up against them. So I just put my piece here. I've got a mark here and a mark here. I'll take my Sharpie and this is going to be my regular ring. So I'm just going to mark it there. This guy is going to be another regular ring. And my bypass ring. So for this one, I don't even really need to measure because I know that I want to go right there. That leaves me enough room on the spoon to be able to put a hole and turn this into a pendant of some sort. Let's get these guys moved. So this one is going to be almost 4 inches. And these guys are about 3 inches, just over 3 inches. Yeah, that one's right at 3 inches. And there's lots of ways to make these. You can make them so that they come together like this and just come right together, and then you kind of twist them to where they're solid. But the way I'm going to show you today, we're going to do it the way I normally make them. So a trick that I've learned is to put these are 14-inch bolt cutters. And one of the things I would really like to really try and always do to be consistent is I keep the side that I want to keep, which is the handle side for this, on the side that I can see. So just put this in there and snip. This piece goes up there. Same thing here again. and it just comes right off. What that leaves us with are 3 pieces. You can see that there's a little burr end on it from it getting squished. So we have to take that off. You can do it with a Dremel tool, and you can also use a on the long ring, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to round this off. On these flat rings, I'm going to go shallow on one end and deep on another. Give me 1 second and I will have those done. Alright, so here's what I've done. I've taken and made this end, just round it off so it's nice and smooth. Doing it with the Dremel. Make sure you get off all the hard edges. Okay, so there's that one. On these flat or these regular round rings, I make a little taper here on the top side, and on the bottom side I make a longer taper. What that does, whenever the ring goes over underneath, the bottom part tapers nice and smoothly into the ring, so you don't have a big lump getting caught around your finger. And the little one on top makes it so that whenever this slides over, it slides a lot smoother, so it doesn't cause big divots or bumps and stuff in there. So I did the same thing to both of these. I normally will take and round them off on the sander as well. This one I left with the sharp end to show you guys how I take that off. So normally I'll do it with belt sander, but here we'll use this guy. So I'm going to take off the end first, and then I want to round this off. Just make sure there's no sharp spots. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. You can also use a file for these. You can put it right in your vise and go right against it. Remember, it's a we'll pretend this is a file. On the top side, you're going to be at an angle like this. On the bottom side, you're going to be at an angle like this. So it's a lot shallower of an angle. Okay. Let's make a ring now. Let's make 3 rings right now. So I'm going to get this situated over here and get the camera to stop autofocusing for you guys. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. First, I'm going to start with the small end, and I'm going to put it face down on the block. I want to catch the tip of it on the block on the other side, and when I bring this down, I'm going to bring it down nice and slow. Flip it up, bend that. I'm curling that around. You can take your thumb and press this down. If you don't have the strength for that, you can take and hammer it. So when I'm hammering, I'm holding down with my left hand and I'm hammering with my right hand, so I can still keep downward pressure on it. what we want is this little candy cane shape. This end isn't quite rounded off enough for me, for what I like. So I get it to where it comes up just a little bit, and then I can hammer that down and it gets nice and round. That really helps later on. And you guys can't see it. I can't get the camera to turn that way. But if you look at this, this end here is pointed this way, just a little bit, just off to the side. How you fix this is you can turn it, you can pull it to one side and pull down on it, and that moves this back over into shape, and vice versa. We'll go both ways. So we have our candy cane. Now we're going to do the other side. Again, getting it to where it catches. A little bit more. Bringing it around. Bringing it around. So now what we have is this little U shape. We want this side to go underneath the larger side. So we're going to start by putting this about the middle, and we're going to bring it down slowly. I go towards the front, towards the back. Now, as you see these guys getting closer and closer, you want to make sure that this one is lower than this one. So I'm going to just start working on this side now. So it just overlapped. Go a little bit more, a little bit more. And what I'm doing right now is I'm making sure that this band here, this part of the ring is even, is right down the middle of the top piece. And like I said, if it's not, you can twist the ring sideways and get it to come over the rest of the way. So here's our first ring. It's actually really round. So let's try our next ring, and I'm going to try and make it to where it's not really round. So once you get this in here, we'll go full speed. Alright, so there's our second ring. But do you see how it's kind of out of shape here? Let's see, right about there, it's all out of shape. My trick for that is I go into the next size down pin, and right here where these meet, right where they touch, that's where I want my pin to go. So I'm going right down there, and then I'm just going to pull down nice and easy. Just touch more. And there we've got a round ring. Whenever I do a bunch of rings, I'll always go back after and use this next smaller pin to be able to just make sure that they're round before they go in the tumbler. Alright, next we have our bypass ring. Whoop, there you are. So this one is going to go right beside itself. So we're going to start from the big side this time, and we're putting it at a slight angle. So slight angle, making sure it's catching on the back. And we're going to go just catch a little bit more. We're going at a slight angle. Same thing as before, we want to get that end down nice and flat. So what I do, is I'll use the hammer the whole time. I'll just pull this around. It allows me to direct where it is. So from here I can see that my end is quite a bit further away. So if I follow that path, there's going to be a big gap in here. So I'm going to spin this around a little bit, bump it over. So we're right now getting right next to it. I just want to keep going with it. Oop. Mermaid's trying to get in the way. Keep rotating it around. Everything's nice and even. And we have a nice round ring. So we have made those 3 rings. Focus! I had a piece of paper here somewhere, but it's gone. Are you zoomed in? It is zoomed. Whoa! 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 We have our nice rings. That one. This rose guy, nice and round. And our bypass ring here. If we put these on our mandrel, we should be able to see it nice and round, flush up against it. These guys here should be nice and round except for that spot where they meet. So we're good there. Same thing with this guy, nice and even. The next part is what size you want to make it. So if I want to make this a size 8, let's see, where's my 8? My 8 is right there. So I need to go down a little bit. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit right here. And watch what happens. I'm just going to hit it once. It slid right down, and it is right at an 8. I got lucky on that one. Still nice and round. We'll do that with the bypass ring. So this one is about an 8 already. We're going to make it a little bit bigger. Just tapping down on it. Now, whenever you're making these bigger, they're always going to shrink back. So you want to resize these. Make sure that you give it enough space for it to shrink down. And to shrink these guys, come right over here. This is just a piece of brown board that I have on my desk, or on my bench. A 4x8 sheet costs, I think, like 10 bucks now. And I just cut them out to the size of my anvil, which is a 4-inch square. So I'm taking the ring and I'm sliding my ring mandrel out with the ring staying where it is. What that's doing is that's giving me a gap in between the ring and the mandrel. We're going to use that gap to be able to resize these, to size them down. So the ring's an 8 and probably half. It's hard to see my marks on here, but we're going to put the top of our ring where they both meet, and we're going to slide this out. We're going to tap once right here, twice right there, 3 times, and then we're going to check it. So we are at about a 7. We want to just take and make sure this is all round. You can see how we have a gap in there. We want to take that out. So I'm just hitting this top fatter piece. And now it's nice and smooth. And we are at a 7. Yep, 7. Same thing with these guys. It's a little bit harder. I always put the small side facing me because I can kind of see where it's at. We do have that gap there, and we can just tap it down and make it bigger. To make it smaller, again, we're going to pull our ring mandrel out. I like to turn the ring right about here. I can see underneath. Underneath I can see that there's a gap. I can see where the end of it is. So I'm going to tap right here, and we're going to make it sink down into that. So it just came down. There's a little gap. Let me see. See the gap right up here in between the 2 pieces. I'm going to bring that around and tap it down. We're going to do that. We're going to get this guy to a 7. So it's almost a 7. We have a little kink right there. I'm just going to put this down here. I want that kink right on top. Always imagine a straight line going down through whatever you're hammering. There we go. Smooth it right out. And it is a size 7. That is the easiest way I've found to make those. I'll show you right now a full version, or let's see, full speed. Let's grab this guy. See if I can get everything in the shop here. I'm not going to be able to. Let's put this over there. Keep you guys focused. All right. Let's see how fast I can do this. Get you guys straight here. See you. Here we go. Zing. And down here. good. Done with you. Full ring, beginning to end. I'll toss this in the tumbler and it's ready to go. Now, one day, I made over 100 rings. And I just prepped everything. I got all my handles cut. I separated them between the bypass and the round rings. The bypass just get spun around and flattened out so that they're nice and smooth. So it's a different sanding process or filing process than it is to make these guys, because these guys have a taper on both ends. So you don't want to make this into a round ring because you'll have this big fat piece of the ring there instead of a nice flat surface. So I hope that this helps you guys. If you want, I will show you how I used to make them by beating them to my will and using a lot more effort to make these rings. So leave me a comment, let me know what you want to see, or if you had a question about what the setup I have is. I got this press system from Flatwearable, Wearable.net. Suzanne is awesome. She does a lot for a lot of silverware jewelers. She has tons of stuff in her store, and she's made these for years now. I absolutely love it. If it wasn't for her setup, there's no way that I'd be able to make the amount of rings or product that I do. So, oh, not a sponsor, but tell Suzanne I sent you. So with this press setup, I'm able to make those rings and make a ton of other things. It just makes it so much simpler than the way I used to do it. You can do one ring beginning to end in less than a minute. I saw one of my friends on TikTok the other day do it in less than 30 seconds. So that was nice. My OCD goes a little bit further than that, but it didn't take me very long to make that ring. And if you're looking at making rings for money, the more that you have, the more you can sell. And this thing is expensive, but I made 100 rings in one day, and that more than covered the cost or potential profit than the machine cost 2 or 3 times over, 3-4 times over. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and please leave me a comment, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell so you get the new notifications, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.